And welcome back to the whole bucket and to Zebra Talks, week 22-ish. I don't know, actually, I forgot. So I'll make sure that I post it correctly, but I don't know what week this is because I can't remember. Today's topic is appreciate your strengths as a zebra. Goodness sakes, I have not been drinking, I swear. Oh, I have my camera on the wrong way. That's okay, I'll just leave it where it is. Appreciate your strengths as a zebra. You are not a failed horse. You are a fabulous, strong, surviving, adaptable zebra. Identify your strengths here. I think that this is really hard for a lot of people to think about what their strengths are, and I'm no different. It is hard for me to think about what my strengths are. I don't know why it's hard for people to think about themselves in positive light. You don't want to take credit. You don't want to be braggy. You don't want to seem arrogant. I don't know. Stuff like that, right? But arrogance, braggy, whatever else I said, it's more about how you do it than doing it. If you could give other people credit for good things they are or good things they do, you should be able to give yourself credit too. I don't know who in the world I'm kidding. I'm terrible at that. Just terrible. I don't know who I'm kidding. I have a couple of ideas of things that I want to say about myself. So one is a good heart. I do my best to it is my goal, right, to be happy and optimistic and a positive person. It is my goal to be open-minded to things I don't necessarily like or things I'm not familiar with. More often is what the truth is. I'm just not familiar with things, but open-minded in all the ways. Life in general is gonna squish that, right? History can make it really hard to see how to stay positive and how to put a good spin on things. It can make you jaded against another person or against a situation or against, I don't know, a food. If you've ever eaten bad seafood, you know, you might not want to touch it again. So history might make us a bit unable to stay positive and to keep a good heart and to stay open-minded and whatever. If you are having a really, really bad health period, or someone around you is, or you've lost a job or lost a home or lost a person or lost a pet, all of those really, really hard things that happen in life can make it really hard to stay positive and to stay on the track that we want to be on. My track is positivity and open-mindedness and to keep a good heart, keep my heart in the right place. And I think in general, I have a good heart. It is my intention, right? Excuse me, I have something bugging me. Anyway, I have a good heart. Another thing that I would like to give myself credit for is resilience. And I thought it was a little funny because I looked back in the beginning of this book, and in the beginning of this book, resilience is something that I did give myself credit for. But since then, I have gone, I was in a rather nasty phase of depression when I started this book, and then I started to get a little better, and then I started to go downhill again, and now I'm getting better again. Such is the nature of depression, right? Yikes. But I put resilience down earlier. So I have acknowledged that I am a resilient person. And then I went and looked up the definition of resilience. So part of it is the ability to bounce back. So I think I do. I let myself get angry. I let myself get sad. I let myself get whatever the emotional state is that I need to feel for a thing. And then, okay, let's be happy again. Let's just deal with this thing with the most positive attitude we can muster. There's something in the definition of resilient that I really don't have, and it is quickly. I'm pretty resilient in that I bounce back, not always very quickly. So maybe there's a better word for what I am, but I'm going with resilient because it's the one that I know. I'm not quick about my bounce back. I'm going to see if I can think of anything else that I am. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a couple doodles because it's what I do. I doodle. God, that was lame. Sorry. I apologize. I am making two dashed lines, and they are staggered, as you can see. And then I'm going to join them with little S shapes in pairs. All right, so is there anything else I can willingly give myself credit for? Well, I don't know, probably, but gosh, I don't like to. Now I'm going to go from the center of this first pair to the point of the next pair, like that. And from the point of this first pair to the center of the second pair. Look at that. I'm making a ribbon. Do it again. Center of the next pair, second pair to the top of the third pair. Good grief, words. Point of the second pair to the center of the third pair. Still with kinds of S's, although on the first ones I didn't really say it and didn't really remember to do it that well. But still making kinds of S's. This time they're a little bit backwards, but just a little bit of a wavy line to join things up. Center to the point and point to the center. ears, itchy ears. I am going to take a plain old-fashioned pencil and put some ink down. Put some graphite down. I should have just done here and here and here and here. So the first one I kind of did wrong. There's really no such thing as wrong, but I did it not how I intended. And then you can take your finger or a Q-tip or a tortillon if you have one. And I have one. How fancy am I? I have a tortillon. Okay, they're not fancy. It's a roll of paper. And you can smudge with your tortillon. I put on way too much lead on those, as you can clearly see. Bit ridiculous, but instead of creating just plain shading, I created a ribbon that's black and white. So I'm going to actually take some up and try to spread it out again, because this is not what I wanted. I don't know, I'm a little heavy-handed with I'm heavy-handed with things that are supposed to be finessed. So I don't know if I'm gonna even, I don't know if I can think of any more things that I will give myself credit for. But let's talk a little bit about what it means to be a fabulous zebra instead of a failed horse. So in the very beginning of the zebra series, I explained what it is to be a zebra. And basically it means that you have something that is out of the ordinary, medically speaking. I honestly think that everybody has a bit of zebra somewhere, which proved to be a little bit true because people aren't necessarily using this for just chronic medical things, but they're using it in context of lots of different chronic things in our lives, right? That need to be dealt with. How cool is that? Completely. Hello. And zebra can be applied to a lot of things. Zebra for me is literal because Ehlers-Danlos organizations have adopted the zebra as their mascot. So if you have Ehlers-Danlos, you are a zebra. If you have medical things that are out of the ordinary and require, special attention or special care or special understanding, just anything that's out of the ordinary, you are a zebra, medically speaking. A lot of mine was pre-diagnosis, right? But it continues post-diagnosis too if you're not surrounded by the right people. And what I'm talking about here is judgment. You can be judged by other people. Your expectations from you can be out of line and whatever. It can be totally disheartening. If you are in fact a zebra and you expect yourself to function in a way that people who are more on the common side do, you will often feel like a failure. You will feel defeated, or like you can't do anything right, or you might feel very alone because Maybe you are surrounded by judgment. I know that I tried and tried and tried for literally decades to function in a regular way. And I didn't fail completely. I had some really cool successes in my professional life. I had some extraordinary failures, right? But in a lot of ways, it was me trying to be a horse. I'm not a horse. I'm a zebra. There are many people who still to this day say there is nothing wrong with me. Like they'll say to me, they'll say, there's nothing wrong with you. Well, you try living in this body and try making it cooperate. Honestly, if there are people outside of my body who think there's nothing wrong, I must be a pretty fabulous zebra because I make this look easy. I make this look normal. I make it look easy. I make it, oh, good grief. If you only knew. If you only knew. I was gonna kind of give away something, but I have something I'm gonna show. I think it's next week. Oh no, it's the very last. It's 2 weeks from now. There's something I'm gonna show in 2 weeks. That's kind of stellar, but it kind of shows how those judgmental people are just flat wrong. Just flat wrong. And they're wrong about you too. Let me say this. Let me say this while I draw a daffodil. Did you know that daffodils are a symbol of resilience? I didn't know that, but they are. So this is a spring or a spiral or whatever, something that just keeps going. I thought that was kind of cool for resilience, because if I pull a ribbon that I've spiraled, right, I pull it and it bounces back. Or same with a spring. If you don't over pull, don't stretch it out completely. All right, anyway, I digress. All the flipping time. I'm going to try to go at an angle that's awkward for me. So there's the start of my daffodil. And here's what I want to talk about. Let's suppose that all of the naysayers in your life are correct. Let's suppose that you think that there is something physically wrong with you. You 100% believe that there is something physically wrong with you. And there isn't. I'm not saying that that's true. I'm just saying let's pretend it's true. Because naysayers think they're right no matter what you do. And maybe they are. If you're an undiagnosed person, is there a possibility that there's absolutely nothing physically wrong with you and your body just feels like there's something physically wrong with it? Yeah, I think that is a possibility. I think it's highly unlikely. In fact, I think it's far less likely than people like to think. There's a whole other subject to get off on, isn't there? Let's not get off on that. Anyway, I really messed up that daffodil petal. Let's suppose they're right. There's nothing physically wrong with you, but your body feels like there's something physically wrong with it. have news for those people. There's still something wrong. So I know I've mentioned it a ton of times before, and I will always mention it. Mental health is a thing. And if your body feels like there's something wrong with it, even though there is nothing physically wrong, right? Then there's likely a mental illness of some sort, or a mental dysfunction, or a mental short circuit, or I don't know how you want to say it, right? But there's a thing. There's something going on. I remember when there was a specific doctor I went to, and I tell this story all the time. I might have even mentioned it in a previous Zebra Talk, who knows. But I went to this particular doctor and I said, I just want you to listen to me. And then, if you agree with the other doctors who say there is nothing wrong with me and it's all in my head, then put me in a psychiatric hospital and fix what's going wrong in my head. Because I didn't care what was wrong. I didn't care what the answer was. I just needed an answer to anything. Now, do you hear the passion coming up? I was told horrific and such cruel things I was told, and such. And I'm not going to get off and into that subject right now. But there are lots of people who go through the same kinds of things, and you might be one of those people. And in the present, in the past, or in your future, I don't know. And I personally don't care. I don't care if you have a diagnosis, if you want one ever. I don't care if you, I don't care what status you're in right now. If this being a zebra is something that resonates with you, then use this, right? Use this information. But the point I'm making is I went through heck and high water, and I didn't care what the answer was. I just needed an answer for anything, because I literally thought I was going to die. Literally thought I was going to die if somebody didn't help me figure something out. That was a very long time ago at this point for me. And some things were figured out by that particular doctor. He did listen, and he's like, I got an idea. And no, I don't think it's in your head. Someday I might share that story because it's kind of interesting, but right now we're just talking about our good traits. Why are you not a failed horse, but a very successful zebra? Because it doesn't matter where the stuff is coming from. If your body and brain do not function with normal life, you need to figure out why and how to make it function as best it can. And you need to stop letting other people and yourself treat you like garbage. If that's happening to you, I'm sorry that that's happening to you. Unfortunately, it happens to a lot of us before things are figured out. Historically speaking, I'm imagining that this happened a lot, right? Like before things were discovered and before they were fully understood. Ehlers-Danlos is not fully understood still, and so are many, many other things. The human body is immensely complex. The brain by itself is insanely complex, right? I would argue, I don't know if doctors and scientists would agree with me, They might, but I would argue that our understanding of our physiology and our chemistry and our electricity is just in its infancy. I think we have so long to go to figure it all out. Don't be afraid if your diagnosis turns out to be in the mental health department. Even if you disagree with it, right? So here's the thing. In order to figure out what is going on, you also have to do some figuring out what is not going on. So if you're told that there is a mental health thing going on and you're like, gosh, I don't think so, be willing to do some therapy or try a medication or etc., right? And be willing to give it a sincere try and effort. Like, for instance, depression medications, if you don't know this, can take months to find out if they're going to work. And if they're not going to work, try a different one. And is that one going to work? And brain stuff is tricky. Medicating your brain, tricky. But give it a good old college try. Because you don't know. Because you don't know. Maybe they're right. Maybe it is a mental health thing. Also, if it's not, and you honestly don't think it is, find a therapist that you really, really like and go to that therapist and say, I'm here to fix this problem, but I don't think this problem is a mental health problem, but dealing with not finding an answer is a mental health problem, so I'm here to talk to you. Just be honest. Just be honest with them. If it is the problem, then yay, you found the answer. And if it's not the problem, you gave it a try, you eliminated that thing. Now can we all move on to the next best guess? Right? Find things that you can appreciate about yourself. Find your strengths as a zebra, not a horse. Because those of us with chronic conditions, no matter what they are, we're not going to fit. We're not going to fit in the regular herd. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. All right, that's enough rambling. That's enough talking. This is my spring for spring and back, and this is my daffodil, because daffodils are a symbol of resilience, and I'm going to add this right here because I try to maintain a good heart toward other people and myself. Not always easy. Not always easy, but I try. All right, see you next week. Thanks for tuning in again. Bye.